Hello, hello, hello. It is Dr. Stephanie, your speaker, but more importantly, your thought leader who happens to be a speaker. I'm popping on to share a book with you. And this book is called Set Boundaries, Find Peace, a guide to reclaiming yourself by Nedra Glover, I think it's Tawwab. If I'm mispronouncing your name, please forgive me. Spelled Tawwab. This book is comes with a workbook. I encourage you to go on to Amazon right away because we have boundary problems. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have boundary problems. Boundary problems. Get my mouth to working. What I'm going to jump on here real quick is I'm not going to keep you long. I'm just going to come on here and give you a little bit of a book review, just the first chapter in the introduction. I'm going to tell you just in the introduction, she had me at the introduction. At the introduction, Nedra talks about the fact that how do you know you have boundary problems? And it gave examples. So since we are coming upon the holiday seasons, I thought they were great in examples to share. And here are some of the examples. There's a holiday event coming up and you don't want to go. There's a family function. And instead of just saying you don't want to go, you go and you suffer through it, or you ignore the phone calls. You had to have a conversation with a mother or father or a grandmother or someone in your family. A tough conversation. And instead of putting up the boundaries, it's like, no, I'm not going to do that, or no, we can't do that, or self-correcting or correcting something they said that was hurtful. Like, one of the examples that they gave was a person who's gained a little bit of weight, and you might live in a different state or different county or haven't seen your mother in a while, and she says, send me a picture, and you send her a picture and she says, oh, look at your cute chubby face. That is actually a little bit passive aggressive there. She's actually, we know what they're trying to say, but it's hurtful, right? Most people that love you and they know that we don't say chubby, we don't say fat, we don't say thick in the fat. We avoid those words when we know that someone has maybe gained a little of weight and they're feeling uncomfortable about it. And how do we know? Because we typically share that information. But this book, is Set Boundaries, Find Peace, a guide to reclaiming yourself, is a must read. Now, I want to read to you some of the reasons people don't respect our boundaries. You don't take yourself seriously. You don't hold people accountable. You apologize for setting boundaries. You allow too much flexibility. You speak in uncertain terms. You haven't verbalized your boundaries. They're all in your head. You assume that stating your boundaries once is enough. And you assume that people will figure out what you want and need based on how you act when they violate a boundary. If you are the person that is on the meeting and you're upset about something, and instead of verbalizing how you feel, you're sitting in a meeting and you texting people, I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna show them, I'm upset, I'm gonna show them. That's passive aggressive. If you disapprove of something, verbalize it. And verbalizing, let's be clear, verbalizing your dissatisfaction doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be bad. In fact, this encouraged throughout the book. There's all kinds of tips, but one of the things that is encouraged is that if somebody says something or does something that you don't like, that you immediately address it. They gave an example of throughout the book that where someone kept touching a coworker kept touching somebody's hair, just kept touching or touching on the back of his shoulder. You could say, hey coworker, I don't particularly like anyone. I would makes me feel uncomfortable when you touch my hair. But thank you. I appreciate if you wouldn't touch my hair. State it. Set the boundary. Or when you see them coming, you say, "Hey, please don't touch my hair." It's okay to set boundaries. When you set boundaries, you set the pace for clarifications and no miscommunication. So, this has just been my take on the introduction. You guys, you've got to get this book. And I want to just give you, I want to read, so to share what the titles of the chapters are. So, number one, part one, which is the introduction, part of the introduction, part one is understanding the importance of boundaries. Chapter one, what the heck are boundaries? Chapter 2, the cost of not having healthy boundaries. Chapter 3, why don't we have healthy boundaries? Chapter 4, the 6 types of boundaries. Chapter 5, what boundary violations look like. And it goes all the way through to chapter 15. And within this book, this juicy book, is a self-assessment quiz, commonly asked questions, acknowledgments, further reading, and some notes. But there are, everything from identifying and communicating your boundaries to blurred lines, make it plain. So this is just a little something. I'll come back with more trinkets, but I want you first to get this book because I want you to join me on the journey to having boundaries so that we can have our peace. More to come. I got to get back to reading. And get this companion, get the book. Listen, what does it say on the back of the book, Stephanie? What does it say on the back? Set boundaries, find peace is a creative, experiential narrative that exposes the advantages behind finding peace with you and others around you through setting boundaries. It is a book that expresses how setting boundaries can positively affect your life. All right. It's been Dr. Wall. And I want you to know that you must shine your light no matter where you are. Shine your light because I believe that your light is God's blessing to the world. And if you're not shining your light, and particularly if you don't have boundaries, you can effectively shine your light. And as I heard Dr. Delatoro McNeil say, see it before you see it, or you will never see it. You heard it before, that where we are right now, our mind got there first. So let's clear our mind by setting boundaries so that there's nothing keeping us from our best. Have an amazing day.